Hi everyone, I'm Marlow Felton.
I'm Chris Felton.
And today we want to talk to you about how you would spend $1 million. I call this my $1 million exercise, and it's a lot of fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. And I even brought a prop. Here's my $1 million bill.
It's real.
It's not, unfortunately it's not real, but here's my visual, because it's always good to have a visual.
She's tried to spend it before.
No, I haven't. Yeah, of $1 million, and actually this is in my office, and so I can see it because I like to look at it.
Thomas Jefferson.
Yes, in case you're wondering, Thomas Jefferson. This is an exercise that I often give people to, one, stretch their vision, and also uncover their wealth blueprint. So let's talk about the wealth blueprint, because oftentimes you would, if you tell people, oh, hey, what if you had a windfall, you suddenly had an extra $1 million, right? And what would you do with it? So most people think that they would be more responsible with a larger amount of money than they would a smaller amount of money. And unfortunately, I have found that not to be true. Really, how you treat any amount of money is a reflection of your wealth blueprint. And this is actually why you see lottery winners, professional athletes, people that come into a windfall of money not be able to keep their money. And we all know stories of those people. And it's really, because of your wealth blueprint. The good news is that you can change your wealth blueprint. But to uncover your wealth blueprint, I always encourage people to really take a hard look at what they really would do with $1 million. What would you do with $1 million?
Well, I get a paddleball game, and then I take the paddleball game, and then I get the umbrellas and the drink. Do you remember Steve Martin?
Oh,
the movie The Jerk?
Apparently I missed that.
He got wealthy, remember?
And he got a paddle. He got a paddleball game.
All I need
is this chair. All
this
I remember
chair.
is this chair and this lamp.
This chair and this
I do remember
paddleball
that.
game.
I didn't
and this
remember the paddleball
remember,
game.
and then when he got wealthy, he got umbrellas in his drink.
Oh, okay.
That was his deal. So what were we
But
talking
so all
about?
you really need is a lamp and a chair.
Well, no, it's. I mean, when people get a lot of money, they're not. They're just not. They're not comfortable. And it takes them out of their comfort zone because they don't prepare themselves, and so it's. The concept is a money bucket, and so if your bucket's this big, and you get $1 million dropped in there, and it's a bucket for 40 grand, it's just gonna fall over. And I mean, I was there for several decades of my life until I really understood that the idea was to expand, the money bucket, and I would need a Ford F-150 truck.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I want to max
just
out.
Just because he wants a huge
Ford
truck that he doesn't really need.
F-150
Like he's a farmer or something.
truck.
He needs an F-150.
Ford F-150 truck. It's got wireless.
Okay.
It's got a wireless internet connection.
Okay.
How cool is that?
That's cool.
Wouldn't that be cool? It's all leather.
Okay,
it would be
so
awesome.
so we all
but
have those.
I know what I would do. I would give 20% off the top away. I know exactly what I would do with that and where that would go. And we take a trip, and then I'd save the rest. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. Maybe get the truck, but probably
get the
I'd
truck.
probably give a ton of it and take a cool trip somewhere, maybe Pebble Beach.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd want to save it because the power of compounding is powerful. So the power of money doubling. So if you could think of $1 million doubling a few times, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Yep.
Yeah. So part of this exercise is really vision stretching as well. But what Chris talked about is the percentages of giving and saving and all of that. So there's the gut reaction of what you would do with $1 million of, oh my gosh, I'd buy this, I'd buy that, I'd blah, 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 I'd take the family on vacation and all this stuff that you would spend it on. And, that is what reveals maybe not that great of a money blueprint. And so I would encourage you to really take a look at what is your gut reaction of what you would do with it. And does that wealth blueprint really serve you? and then take the exercise and really think about it and say, you know what is the best use of this money? So let's give, 10, 20%, whatever percent you want. How much am I going to save? Is there something worthwhile that I can do for my family that can set us up financially? Those things, and really think about, okay, once I give this, once I save this, what is left over, and allocating some for fun, of course. We always allocate some for fun. So, then really thinking about, okay, well, this is the blueprint that I want, even though this other blueprint is my old blueprint. It's not really serving me. Let's think about the new wealth blueprint and treat any and all money that comes into my life with the same respect as we would with the $1 million. So it's pretty cool. So if you're just joining us, we've got $1 million. This is a $1 million bill. So we're talking about what would you do with $1 million. So the other part of this exercise of thinking about what you would do with $1 million is to stretch your vision. For many people, having $1 million is beyond their scope of, they can't fathom having that amount of money. Or maybe you're a really big thinker. You want to stretch your vision, and you want to do this exercise with 10 million, 100 million, whatever the number is. It has to be something that's vision stretching. So, whatever that number is, and really thinking about, wow, what would I do with this money? And how careful would I be with how I allocated it, and what a difference I could make, and this is what it would feel like. I mean, that's really a cool thing for anyone to do, wouldn't you think?
Well, yeah, but once, the key is once you start mentally imaging that, and you ask yourself, what would you do with that amount of money, and you start asking a really empowering question like that, it actually, neuroscience says it starts lighting up, a prefrontal cortex part of your brain versus where a lot of people live their life, which is, fight or flight amygdala, and they're in fight or flight and stress and struggle and all that. And so when you start asking these questions, and this goes along with just your ideal income too. If you're like, well, man, what if I earned that, and what would that look like? And you start asking yourself these empowering questions, and then you start, instigating that part of your brain and getting it engaged. And then what happens is, who knows, you might actually get a hunch or an idea for, a new business, or, a new solution or new product, or, and then you start actually doing, real thinking, which is what most people don't do, is just regurgitated unconscious thoughts. We basically think 60 to 70% of the thoughts every day, over and over again. And so this is just a powerful exercise to kind of stimulate thinking and stimulate that part of your brain. And then you start thinking about, what could I do that I actually love to go make that happen? And then you can actually, so you're never going to see big money in your bank account until you see it in your imagination first.
Right. Yeah, so that's powerful, and it's amazing what can happen when you start thinking big and stretching your vision and thinking about something that's outside your comfort zone, and suddenly you'll see opportunities present themselves to you because your mind is more open. It's happened to Chris and I a number of times, and we have numerous examples of that. And so I'm telling you, shift your thinking and you're more open to opportunities. So that's why the $1 million exercise is so incredibly powerful. So I've included a link to our blog if you want to read that, find out a little bit more about the $1 million exercise. Do it to uncover your wealth blueprint and change your wealth blueprint if you want to, and to stretch your vision. So what would you do with 1 million, 1 million, or 10 million? Do I hear 100 million?
Oh my God.
Well, just the possibilities are endless, right? Why are you laughing at me?
That face.
Okay.
Probably.
we're getting kind of cuckoo. So anyway, do the exercise. I highly encourage it, and hope you got some insight from this, and we will see you next time. Have a great weekend.